Have you always wanted to be an architect? I'm not gonna lie, being an architect was never really my first career choice. I'm actually very jealous of those people who've always known they wanted to be an architect since they were a little kid. Because in my entire architecture career, I've always known that deep down, this is not gonna be my career forever. So about 2 years ago, I made a career transition from architecture to tech, and I made a video about it, which you can watch here. And since then, I've met a lot of people who have done something similar like me and made a career transition into something different than architecture. At the same time, I've gotten a lot of questions, and I mean a lot of questions about making a career switch. And the most common question I get is, what can I even do outside of architecture? The biggest problem for a lot of people is they don't even know where to start. They don't know what career options are out there for them outside of architecture, and they don't know how to use the skills that they already have as an architect and use it outside in a different profession. Instead of just giving you the top 10 list of alternative career options like most YouTube videos out there, I want to show you the sphere of alternative careers. It basically shows you the layer of relevancy between a career choice and architecture. The idea is that the further away you get from the center of the sphere, the more irrelevant this career might be to architecture, and you might need to learn a little bit more skills to make that career transition. Layer 1 is all about specialty. The most relevant alternative career for architects is taking what you already know, taking the skills that you already have, and specializing in it. If you have something that you're passionate about, something that you're good at, this is a good sign that you might have a skill that you can specialize in. It's a really easy way, and you don't have to do much to transition from the general architect job into something more specific. For example, I have a friend, Mitz, who became a facade consultant because she just absolutely loved being on job sites. She was always going on roof, testing waterproofing, writing field reports, looking at windows. And this is not something that I personally do because I don't really enjoy going on job site, even though I don't mind it. But if you love being on site, this might be an option for you. Some other examples of specialty that an architect could do is something like sustainability or a lead consultant, a BIM specialist or a BIM manager, urban planner maybe. A lot of architects also goes really specialized in interior design. I also have had a friend who became a kitchen designer. He was an architect, he was my coworker, and he started his own company only doing kitchen designs. The second layer of alternative career is within the real estate and construction world. There are a lot of architects who, for example, become real estate agents, like my friend Nicole, who got her license as a realtor and she started flipping houses and became a landlord herself. Or Renee Graham, who was a speaker at the Women Architects Festival. She became a developer owning over $10 million in portfolios. At the same time, she has her own architecture firm. It was actually one of the most popular workshops at the Women Architects Festival last year. So if you want to watch that, I'll drop the link in the description below and you can get access to the replay. Some other examples other than being a real estate agent or a developer is building inspectors, contractors, house flippers, becoming your own landlord. These are all inside the real estate or construction world that you can consider. The third layer is going into either the public sector or the private sector. This is what a lot of architects call going into the dark side, especially if you are going into the private sector. It's actually a very common career path that a lot of architects take, is becoming an owner's rep on the client side. This usually means you're managing construction projects for the private companies or the government if you choose to go into the public sector. You might be the one hiring architects for building out a headquarters for the company, or master planning a campus, or building out retail stores or restaurants across the countries for like fast food chains, for example. A good example of that would be Evelyn Lee. She's the founder of Practice of Architecture. I'll link her podcast below. She was also the first workplace experience designer at a software company called Slack. It's her job to hire architects to design their headquarters, their offices, but she doesn't just deal with the physical office space. She also works on policies to create good workplace culture and experiences for the employees. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, if you have like interior workplace experience, this could be a path that you go down, and I know a lot of tech company that has giant campuses and offices that would hire workplace experience designer. Some other examples for the private or public sector, or as I said, going into the dark side, you could become construction manager for these companies, fabrication specialist. I have a friend that joined a fabrication, I think it was a furniture company that specialized in prefab kind of furniture. Again, BIM manager. Some companies, if they're big enough, they actually hire BIM manager to manage their models to optimize their building operations. If you go into the public sector, you can become a zoning officer. Maybe you can join a city planning council. And another example, I see a lot of architects, and most of them that do interior designs, is becoming a vendor. So basically sales reps for furniture company, finishes, window companies, stuff like that. The fourth layer is in the AEC tech world. This is where I am. I became a marketer in the AEC tech startup. This role has really allowed me to combine my passion of marketing, writing, my interest in tech, and my knowledge of architecture into one single career. First of all, you should know that some AEC startups out there actually hire licensed architects. This is because there are some software companies out there that are trying to streamline the building process. Like Cottage, which is a company that specializes in ADU. They hire architects to work with clients to design these ADUs. But the most common job in tech for architects is by far UX design. UX design means user experience design. I don't even know who I can give you as an example, because I've met tons and tons of people who became UX designer from their architecture background. This is because it's actually really easy to transfer your design skills and also your logical skills as an architect and combine those together into user experience design. And if you want to go down this route like many architects do, you might want to consider attending a boot camp or getting a certificate to build out your portfolio to have that credibility and really learn about the intricacy of UX design. Some other examples in the AEC tech world would be software engineer, product designer, brand designer, marketer like me. Again, licensed architect could still have a role in the AEC tech world, or even interior designer. There are a lot of options out there if you do want to get into the tech startup world. At the outer layer of the sphere of alternative careers is all about design. A lot of architects think because they are architects and they know design that this is a lot more relevant. But I want you to understand that architecture in the real world, not in school, is much more technical, much more about construction, about building the actual building, and less about design. That's why I put design as the outer layer of this sphere of alternative career. As an architect, you do have a fundamental ability in design, especially spatial 3D type of design. So you could consider alternative design careers that require spatial thinking, set design in theater, which is something that I really wanted to do in school. But I want to also remind you that if you do want to become a designer in a different field, you do want to make sure you take the time to learn the skills. A good example of that is branding and graphic design. A lot of architects think because they have the ability to put together a presentation for a building, they can go and design a logo. And as you know, brand design is something that I love, which is why I went into personal branding. And to do that, I took a lot of graphic design classes classes, I read tons of books, I learned everything about branding before I had the confidence to take on clients. Some examples with this would be exhibition design, like in a museum, or even doing window displays for retail stores. Like I said, theater set design, 3D video game design. Recently, there are architects that are doing Web3 metaverse design, like doing buildings inside the metaverse. For me, it would be graphic design, web design. When I was in school, I have friends that got into industrial design, so things like furniture or cars, basically product type of design. So there you have it. Now you know the 5 layers of the sphere of alternative careers. There are tons and tons more options out there. This is by no means the only career options you could choose as an architect, but I think this is a good start to help you start brainstorming some of the options of where you could go next if you do want to make a switch. Comment below and let me know which career path you might be considering outside of architecture. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because then you'll see more videos like this in the future. If you're interested in the tech industry as one of your possible alternative careers, check out this video where I talk about my career switch from architecture to tech. And if no one has told you this today, you're enough. I'll see you next time.